Going to be tricky because I'm holding this phone in my hand like this. It's going to be very tricky.
Because for YouTube viewer to hear my question and stuff, you'll have to have something.
Okay, we are. I'm on YouTube live, and Nishit bhai, you are live on Facebook.
Yep, just give me one moment. Actually,
Okay.
not live on Facebook yet. Going live.
Okay, Manish bhai, you are on the phone. You're on the phone as well.
Yeah, just carry it on and keep it on the side, sir, so people can hear it.
Okay. Okay, Nishit bhai, we are on your hands.
Yep, just 1 minute only. We need to just connect it to Facebook, then we are good to go.
Just bear with us. We're just sorting out the technicalities of being on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. We should be there shortly. Please bear with us. We're just sorting out a few things to make sure we are on YouTube and Facebook at the same time.
Okay, we are now live on Facebook. So, welcome everybody to another Q&A session on Hinduism. My name is Nishit Kotak. I'm here with Jay Lakhani. Jay bhai, welcome to the podcast today.
Yes, most welcome, sir. Go on.
Yes, and we are also joined by Manish bhai. Manish bhai, welcome to the podcast. Welcome everyone. Nice to meet you. And we have got also our hi. So, folks, for those of you who are joining us today, you may be joining us on Facebook. We're on facebook.com/Hindu Academy. And we're also on YouTube at youtube.com/Hindu Academy. We run these sessions every Saturday, 2 o'clock UK time, and they run for about 45 minutes. So what I'd like you to do is, wherever you're watching us, do let us know in the comments area where you're watching us from, and also any questions that you may have on Hinduism, please post them in the comments area, and we'll have our moderators checking the social media feeds on Facebook and YouTube, and we'll bring those questions live on air for you. For the moment, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand over to Jay Bhai to just kick off the session for today, and I'll pass on to Manish Bhai to ask a couple of questions, and then we'll take the session. Jay Bhai, over to you now.
Okay, just give me a moment. Everything is kind of wobbly here.
So,
Okay. Okay, Paul Elliott
just
was, he can't hear me, so I hope he can hear me now. Okay, Paul, can you hear me? Okay, we can start. We've got a few questions. I mean, Manish Bhai or Nishit Bhai, you can start off with the questions, or I can pull out the question that I received on the email. What should we do next?
okay, sir, I'll start it off.
Okay.
Okay, so welcome to YouTube viewers. We have Pradeep Jain, Paul Elliott, VV, Priya Ranjan, Sam De Silva. The first question is, sir, a viewer is saying we have a big problem with Muslim and Christians. They have missionaries working hard to convert the Hindus of lower and middle class by quoting, Hindu scriptures and misrepresenting Hindu texts. Some of them say Lord Rama was born by a horse, and from ghost came a yagnam, and they quote Puranas and Manusmruti and such thing. Some of the missionary says Jesus is Vishnu. How do we deal with these people, sir?
Okay, just to repeat this question for some people who couldn't hear you, Manish Bhai. Manish Bhai is saying that a lot of missionaries are using or misquoting the scriptures to destroy the integrity of Hinduism, saying Ram was born from a horse and all that. Okay, let me just touch on it. You see, the Hindus themselves are very poorly educated regarding their own scriptures. The biggest first problem is they can't distinguish the Puran, the narrative, the colorful narrative with all these gods and goddesses and all that, from the scriptures of authority which talks about the deeper dimension to reality, which are the Upanishadic teachings. So unfortunately, the Hindus themselves are so poorly educated, they can easily be taken for a ride. And they are being taken for a ride, and they go on the ride happily. And they send message, Mr. Lakhani, but he said in the Bhavishya Purana, it's written like this, what should I say? I say to them to get lost. Tell them, focus on the deeper vision of Hinduism, not the colorful narratives. We love colorful narratives. Suppose it's Star Wars, it's for real. I say, go away. In the same way that colorful narratives are fine, but don't treat them as literal truths. If anybody throws some kind of scripture in your face, because you are so poorly educated about your own tradition, you can't respond. And you cannot go, what do I do? They said it's written in the scripture. So first thing is educate yourself regarding the relevance of the scripture. The scriptures of authority that you should focus on are the Upanishads, the deeper vision regarding nature of reality. Focus on that. Just say, this is what we are on about. This colorful storytelling that you find in the Puranic stories, we treat them with a pinch of salt, with a bag of salt. They're colorful ways of engaging us with deeper vision. But that's all they are. They're colorful. They're not literal truths. So don't be taken in for a ride by this kind of missionary religions trying to undermine us. Always, the only way you can protect yourself and your youngsters from being converted, being pressurized to convert, is to give them structured knowledge of our tradition. And that's what we are trying to do in a very humble manner. We launched this course, e-learning course on Hinduism, and we were surprised within about 10 days we have got 1,900 subscribers studying their Hinduism in a structured, rational format. So I would say, look, if you want to really respond, first make sure you know your own scriptures properly. So don't get carried away by all this nonsense. That's the first response. And you see, the thing is this. The Abrahamic traditions are fixated on the scriptures. They've got nothing better. Because the prophets lived 2,000 years ago or whatever. So they are just fixated on what they may or may not have said. And they're fixated. This is called idolatry of the worst kind. If you're fixated on the scripture, that means you are not allowed to think for yourself. It's all fixed, written up in your book. You can't think now. You are a moron. Become like a zombie. So if this is their approach, then tell them, look, just go back to your scripture and sit on it. We wish you well. But we are a living tradition. So even if we have a scripture, our scriptures come with modern proponents, with a modern vision, which is very relevant in the world that we live in. So focus on that and rather get caught up with this colorful narrative and throw it in our face. But because you are weak, you get caught up and they're quoting our scripture. Of course they are. There was one particular cleric who was making mockery of Hinduism by pulling out material from this, this kind of Puranic stories and saying this is Hinduism. And Hindus say, oh yeah, it's written in the Puran. Puran is legendary stories. Once you know that, you are safe. But you are not safe because you don't know the difference. So I have to keep telling our Hindu public, please learn about your religion in a structured, systematic manner. We're offering it free of charge. Join the course and study the course. I think that should be enough, Manish Bhai.
That sounds good, sir. Just on the Puranas, we had a viewer asking about Das avatars. He's saying Vishnu is the preserver God, and we have 10 avatars of him: Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Narsimha, Vaman, Parshuram, Ram, Krishna, Buddha, and then Kalki to come. So could you explain this situation?
Yes, indeed. You see, the thing is, again, when you look at this idea of Das Avatar, I love it because in a way it's showing the evolution of humanity, evolution of living things from fish to animals to human. So it's a very interesting way of depicting the idea of evolution. But this particular idea of Das Avatar is in the Puranic stories, either Vishnu Puran or Bhagavad Puran. Puran. So even though we love some of these ideas and we love the personality of Ram and Krishna and Buddha and all that, and yet we have to recognize that they are Puranic stories. So if somebody said, Mr. Lakhani, why doesn't Vishnu take birth again now because we are in trouble with coronavirus? He can come with a serum and vaccination and sort us out. He's supposed to be the preserver. The reason is because this is colorful narrative. So don't expect this thing to be literally true and Vishnu to come down for you. Has he come down? Come on. For the last 1,000 years, we were attacked, challenged by people of other tradition, murdered, butchered, raped, and yet none of our gods stand up. So don't you see? The real religion says you stand on your own feet and sort yourself out rather than focus on some external entity to come and sort you out. This is a tradition that you belong to. Yeah, no, you have to come and sort me out. I just am a weakling. Then you suffer. Then you pay a price. That's what's happening with modern Hindus. So I have to say, Puranic stories treat them with. Look, another question that arises, Manish Bhai, with the same tradition is this: is the yugas. The yugas are, we've got this Satyug, the Krita Yuga, then Dwapar and Treta and Kali Yuga and all that. When you add up the number of years for all the 4 yugas, is 4.3 million, and Satyuga is supposed to be something like 1.7 million. Now, there is no sign of any human being, Homo sapien, visible on earth through any archaeological evidence who lived more than 80, 90,000 years ago. And you want us to drag us back to 1.4 million and say, oh, this is when Ram was born. Come on now. So always keep your feet firmly planted on the ground, think rationally, and it must agree with your common sense and with the findings that you see through archaeological evidence. And if anything flies in the face of rationality, reject it. So that's what I do when they say this should happen in the Satyug, and in the Satyug the lifespan of human being is 100,000 years. But oh God, there is no such evidence. So please grow up. Necessary to move from this kind of colorful narrative to more kind of, if you like, philosophically oriented Hinduism. That's what we are trying to do. Any other questions, sir? Manish Bhai?
Sir, we have a question from Neeraj Singh. He's saying how to be as articulate as yourself.
I'll be very honest. I'll tell you the true story. Make it much lighter hearted, because otherwise we get very heavy with philosophy. Actually, this Hinduism class would not have started. What happened is my daughter was about 7 years old, 6-year-old. We said we must give her comprehensive teaching of Hinduism. So we tried to find a teacher, and no teachers were prepared to do it. Comprehensive, no sectarian, comprehensive Hinduism, and we couldn't find a teacher. So my wife caught me. She says, "Look, you do such lovely stories for your daughter. Think that all these children are your own children and do stories for them." I said, no, I'm nervous. I'm a businessman. I can't do articulate. I can't do stories. I can't do lecturing. Oh, no. And she pushed out me. And this is how we started in a very weird manner, by just trying to teach my own daughter and a few other young little children. We started this thing about, 30 years back. And it has mushroomed. Now we've got about nearly 2,000 people subscribing to our course. And the reason why I become articulate, I'll be very honest. Look, my hands are up. I'm nothing special about me. The force driving me, in a way, really messing me up in no uncertain terms, is this force called Vivekananda. And he has entered my blood system. And if Vivekananda enters your blood, you see, look, the moment we are, sorry, we are linked up again. The reason why we suffer is not because we are evil or we are monsters or we have done sinful things. This is the wrong vision. The moment the spirit, means the thing underpinning us, makes its appearance in this world as living thing and become human, it pays a price. It is at the mercy of external forces, including coronavirus. It cannot be escaped. There's no external being, oh, I'll so. That is purely colorful narrative. We have to sort ourselves out by standing on our own feet and sorting ourselves out. And that's what our religion teaches us. Stand on your own feet and sort yourself out. Human beings, you are the spark of God. You are spirit, not God outside. You. So at the moment when we see all these scientists working hard to find a vaccination, all these kind of nurses and doctors helping the people who are struggling, this is your living God interacting with reality, rather than external God coming down, descending. Oh, I'll sort you out. It doesn't work like that. So our religion has always been very mature, saying, you are the spark of divine, you are spirit. So you have to stand on your own feet and sort your problems out, whether it's coronavirus or any other disaster that arrive. We had many other disasters, not the first one. Have confidence in ourselves rather than an external God to sort us out. This is the teaching of our tradition.
Okay, Nishit Bhai, your turn now.
Nishit Bhai. Okay.
So I have a question for Jay Bhai, which was basically a question asked by one of the viewers earlier today, which is, when one is starting out on the basics of Hinduism, what are the correct scriptures of authority to use? And are there any modern references that they can use?
Okay, I'll just repeat the question because sometimes the YouTube people cannot hear the question. The question is, the viewer is asking, what kind of scripture should we fall back on if you want to begin our spiritual journey? Look, and somebody else keep sending me messages saying, I want to study the Vedas. Where do I go? Look, this is the problem. We somehow think the ancient teaching that we had in the Vedic scriptures contains some magic there. So if you study the Vedas, we capture the heart of Hinduism. Look, my friend, you are a living tradition. You claim to be a living, evolving tradition. Vedas are fine. Vedas means a person who is enlightened gives expression to his experience, and that's called Veda. That's the definition of Vedas. So why should it be just antiquated stuff? Why are you so fixed on antique? Are you antique dealers? Or you want to learn spirituality in its true manner? So we are a living tradition, and Vedas are defined as that material that comes out from an individual who is spiritually enlightened. So anything that comes out of the mouth of a modern spiritual experience of a modern giant, that is your Vedas, not some antique Atharva Veda magic chants to how to do black magic on your enemies. Stuff like, you want to go back there. So focus on these modern giants we have, and the material that came out of their lips is the purest of Vedas, suited to our own time. People say, no, this is the old one. Then go and do antique hunting. This is not for me. So I say, focus on the teachings of modern spiritual giants, whether it's Vivekananda, Raman Maharshi, etc., powerful personalities. Look at their lives, their teachings. I would say, look at their lives. That'll charge you up. Let's begin your spiritual. That's how I started my spiritual journey. When you look at the lives of this grand personality, you say, well, this is real. This is for real. And that is how you begin your spiritual journey. And when you look at a personality and his lifestyle, there is a much more engaging way of relating to your religion than purely looking at the teachings, which sometimes can be very heavy-handed. So forget about, look, I'm not vilifying ancient Vedas, but I'm saying you got modern ones, so why do you fixate on antiquated stuff? This is my response. Okay, Nishit Bhai, some more questions from you, sir?
Yes, Jay Bhai. So the next question we had was from another viewer who was saying, it was more of a comment. I just want to hear your thoughts on it. So they say that according to their way of looking at things, religions will soon be something that is obsolete. They believe that people will be believing in spirituality or spiritual humanism, but not religions per se. What are your thoughts on this?
I agree with that absolutely. In fact, I have been saying that myself. You see, the future of all religions, because look, what do religions mean? Religion means, in a way, trying to line up humanity with a super personality called God. That is what religion actually literally means. Realigning humanity with a super personality, God. It has worked okay. It has kind of encouraged people to be philanthropic, be loving, be caring, all these wonderful things, nothing wrong. But the world has moved on very fast. And the pace of progress is exponential. So the modern thinking used to say, we can't relate to this, because if this is an all-powerful God, then why all this suffering? What kind of God is he? He seems like a monster to create so much suffering in the living kingdom. Forget about human being, living kingdom, merciless. So what kind of God set this into motion? So this monotheist God is under severe challenge in all religions, including Hinduism. So I've been telling the Hindus for a long time now, you have got this principle-oriented idea of religion which says not on some super personalities, focus on your essential nature as spirit, and the essential nature of this creation as spirit, Atman and Brahman. Go back there, you are safe. So the future of all world religions is not going to be this monotheist God. This is under severe challenge. 90% of the youngsters I come across in the English schools say we are atheists rather than believe in a God in heaven. So even though we take on as Christian, this is a tradition. We don't agree with that. So this is reality. So this is not just going to be with English children. It's going to happen with throughout the world. It's happening in a big way. So what will happen is this: where do they, kind of hang their coat? They need a hanger to hang their coat, and the hanger is going to be spiritual humanism. There is something more to you, my friend, than you think. It is not your body, the mind, something dramatic, special about you. And that is the way to focus your ideas regarding spirit. So the word religion will be replaced by the word spirituality. And how do you understand the idea of spirituality? Spiritual humanism. There is something very grand and great about humanity that has to be acknowledged and in a way kind of addressed and engaged with. This is called spiritual humanism. I have a constant fight with the British Humanist Association. They say, Mr. Lakhani, we believe in materialistic humanism. Be good human beings, full stop, nothing more. I said, no, there's more. You are not just a lump of matter. There's something more that is using this material frame to express itself, and that is called spirit. They say, we don't like that. I know you don't like it, but your quantum physics will force you to like it. So this is the story, the ongoing fight that I have with the idea of humanism being shifted from a highly materialistic stance to a spiritual stance. And do you know who is going to help me? Surprisingly, the coronavirus. It is forcing, it is shattering your worldview regarding reality, and this kind of fixation on matter is in a way severely jolted. Because now you can't be sure about your own life. It seems to be so fickle. Everything that you were aspiring for, the material things, seems so fickle. It may be just dragged away from you without any nonsense. So in a way, this coronavirus is forcing humanity to look elsewhere to resolve the human condition. And the answer lies with spiritual humanism that I keep talking about. And it's not a minor thing. It is unavoidable. It's whether Mr. Lakhani says it or anybody says it, is going to come. Humanity is going to refocus attention on his own essential nature of the spirit. This is the way forward. So I get carried away. I get wee and I speak faster and faster.
Thank you, Jeevan. So we have a question from Mehul Varamya, and it coincidentally just happened to be a question that I'm going to pose to you next anyway. So his comment was basically, I like the thought that nothing is entirely good and nothing is entirely bad, which is from the Ayurveda, from one of the Vedas. But my question to you was, what is the best way to train people to see the gradients in the world around them instead of just being black or white? What about the grays in the world?
Yes. You see, there are some religions which can be called highly simplistic, over simplistic, because it in a way helps the simplistic mind. For simplistic people, we do just on black and white. They want religion which is simply black and white. Our tradition is not black and white, it's scales of gray. It recognizes that everything is contextual. It is never say pure white or pure black. It's a mixture of all this. This we have recognized in very ancient times. It's a scales of gray. And this is why this is a more mature way of looking at reality rather than saying this is good, this is not. Because the context may change and what appears good today may appear bad tomorrow. And what may be good for you may be bad for somebody else. This shows the contextual aspect of everything how we define as good or bad. So this idea of seeing things in grayscale rather than black and white is very essential to show you are a mature human being, not oversimplistic. Some of the oversimplistic religions will give you just black and white. We say no, we are scales of gray. Everything I do will have certain good, certain positive things, certain negative results. I can't help it, they're intertwined. So what I set into motion today may be good for me or for somebody tomorrow, and day after tomorrow it might become very bad for that person. Suppose I help somebody struggling. You say, I've done a good thing. Now I made him in a way made him important because he won't now stand on his own feet to sort himself out. So we have done good or bad. See, straight away. So everything that you set into motion has got this grayscale area. Recognize it, live with it, and enjoy. This is the more kind of mature way of looking at reality rather than this kind of oversimplistic way many people like to do it.
And then a final question from me before we go to Manish Bhai again. The question is basically, what is the best way to introduce children to Hinduism?
Yes. The best way to introduce children to Hinduism or to any tradition is through colorful narrative. You see, the colorful narrative has a place in religion, every religion. In a way, otherwise, you see, for a young child, suppose it's a philosophy, it doesn't work. So you need to kind of, in a way, engage them with a narrative. And narrative is always, it comes with health warning, it's not literally true, but just get them engaged with it. And one thing is, we have got, of course, is ancient mythology, lots of Puranic stories which will address, which will engage a lot of. I was brought to Hinduism through these colorful narratives. That is perfectly fine, but once you are 10 or 11, you say this thing can't be for real, and you start challenging it, and that's when your rational faculties, kind of kick in and say, no, this can't be real, this can't be literal, and then you grow up. So you start from a narrative, but narratives are essential for everybody. It's the way to progress your story. In fact, I did a narrative a few days back on WhatsApp. It may be shown in WhatsApp days to come. It's story of Ganesh, and you say, wow, the story of Ganesh is mythology, but you see the power of narrative. But then it comes with limitation. And again, you see, people say, but Mr. Lakhani, when I told my child, Hanuman, was, they saw, Ganesh was like this, and he was, sitting on a mouse. So they said, come on, it can't be for real. So it's gone out of that. It's not fashionable anymore. I say, I know. But then modern humanity has produced modern mythology, not antiquated mythology, modern mythology. Do you know where it is? Look at Star Wars. Look at Avatar. Look at Harry Potter. What is all this? This is modern mythology. So your youngster will be engaged to that, talking about adventure and being honest and being forthright and being upright and being adventure. All these things are visible in modern narratives, modern mythology. So use that. I'm not frightened to say, oh no, it must be Ganesh and Hanuman. You can find the same ideas of valor and ethics and morality in modern mythology. That's why use mythology, ancient or modern, to engage your youngster to start the journey, but always be aware.
Srimad Bhagavatam in their Pravachanam, they mention Lord Swaminarayan is superior to other Hindu gods. They say submission to Lord Swaminarayan is the only way to moksha. Can you please explain this?
Indeed. Look, as we said, when we started this course, we were very clear. We are only going to talk about Hinduism in its full comprehensive nature. We are not going to demote or promote any particular sectarian movement. So to pass any comments, positive or negative, about any movement, including the Swaminarayan movement, is not our cup of tea. I will not do it. I recognize the great personality who set up the movement, who was perhaps strongly motivated through spiritual experiences to start the movement. So I recognize it. But sometimes the mythology and the philosophy that is kind of wound around this personality becomes sometimes divisive. We understand this with not only with many other movements too. But it is not my job to try and put any kind of dispersion, any kind of damaging comments about any movement, including the Swaminarayan movement or the Hare Krishna movement. I wish them well. But I'm saying to the youth of today, If you want to understand comprehensive vision of Hinduism, which is not just kind of purely sectarian, focusing on one super personality, then please study our course, which tells you how these personalities are important, and yet there's a broader vision. So we're not undermining them, we're simply saying try and focus on the more broader vision of Hinduism that we are promoting through our e-learning course. And it is not demoting anybody or any individual, any movement or any. We recognize Hinduism like this. It's a family of sectarian movements. So we recognize them. But when anybody makes a claim they are exclusivist, we alone are right, then we are becoming like the Abrahamic tradition. And you see what happens when you become exclusivist. You create hell on earth. You say kill or convert. So we don't want to go down that line. So if any movement within Hinduism says exclusivism, we alone are right, we say go on, come on. Your religion says ekam asatya vipra bahuda vadanti. There are many ways to be spiritual. Your movement may be one of them, but don't say this is the only way. Don't do that. Don't do that. You are demeaning, destroying the dignity of Hinduism. I think I should finish with that, sir.
Yeah, I have a question. For those who are not looking for mukti, why should they learn Hinduism or religion? What use is it in their lives?
Okay. Look, vast majority of people are not looking for mukti. They're just trying to sort themselves out. They're not trying to run away from life. But they want to see how they can engage with life. That's reality. We recognize it. We don't undermine them saying, oh, how dare you must look for mukti. Why? They want to continue to engage with reality as they come across. And the reason why these ideas of religion will in a way hold their hand is simply this. They get buffeted. Whether we like it or not, we get buffeted. Left, right, and center. We say, I want to focus on that theme and I want to go towards that progress, toward that particular destination. And we get, knocked about all over the place. So when you get knocked about all over the place, you say, now let me get a handle on how I don't get knocked about. It's not that you want to achieve moksha or mukti or something. You say, I don't like being knocked about. So if that is your focus, just live your life fully, but don't like to be knocked about, then religions will help you because they will tell you, look, this is why you get knocked about, so stop doing that or focus on that and not on this. So in a way, religion only gives you guidance regarding how you lead your routine life without getting knocked about. That's all. Not saying moksha. Why? Suppose you like your life and you want to live your life fully. I'm not saying go for moksha. No, it's not your cup of tea yet. So try and lead a life which allows you to lead your life in a more controlled manner. And that is the only thing religion can offer you in the state of mind that you have. Take some more questions, sir.
Okay, it's a question from YouTube. It's asking tips on preserving lifelong brahmacharya.
Yes. Okay, this is important and I have talked about it at length and I like to talk about it because most people don't realize the importance of brahmacharya and its relevance. First of all, the Hindu tradition has never vilified the act of sex. They never said it's horrible, sinful, that's Victorian Christianity. We never said that. We say the force that is in a way unfolding itself through this creation, all of the galaxies coming out and living things popping out and living things becoming more and more complex as human beings. The whole process is one thing, trying to express itself. So that is nothing to be vilified. That's the underpinning to reality. So we recognize the force that in a way attracting male and female to continue to reproduce is the same force that created the universe. It's underpinning to reality. So we recognize its importance. And yet, then Mr. Lakhani, why do you say celibacy is important? Why does Vivekananda be a celibate? And what's all this thing about? Why this contradiction? The contradiction is as follows. The act of sex is perhaps the most powerful physical enjoyment you can get. It's the greatest physical enjoyment any human being can have, sex. Now the problem is that we believe in reincarnation, so we lived many lives, and throughout many lives, this has been a very, very profitable, if you like, very rewarding experience for us. So it's got ingrained in us. All human beings, all living things is ingrained. The moment we see some beautiful lady or something, we start shuddering. Because it has been a very positive, a rewarding experience over many lifetimes ingrained in us. All human beings have this kind of tremendous attraction. It's the very force that's driving the universe is coming throughout as attraction. So don't vilify it. But then what do we do? Why should you control it? Why should you stop it? Come on, let it flow. Said Osho, I think, but I'm not going to say that. The reason is this. The very thing that allows you that shows itself as expression of attraction towards the gender is telling you that it will make you feel that you are nothing more than a physical body. You are a physical being. It is a physical pleasure you get. You shudder. So they say the thing that is making you kind of turn into an animal, a shuddering animal, takes away your dignity as a spiritual being. So if you want to discover your identity as a spiritual being, stop it. So even though the force is fine, we don't say vilify it, at the same time we say harness it, hold it. Because it turns you into a shuddering animal. and you want to discover your identity not as a physical being but as a spiritual being, so it will stop you from doing that. That is the only reason we say if you are serious to experience yourself as a spiritual being and not a physical being, then you have to put a halt on it. That is the reason why we say celibacy for spiritual progress is in a way useful. Otherwise, the very thing that is true is underpinning all of us. All the top politicians, all the top people you think of have been fallen short, including Vishwamitra. Menka start dancing and Vishwamitra is gone. So it is a very powerful force, difficult to fight against. And yet we say you want to recognize your identity as a spirit. You have no choice. You have to stand up against the force of this gender attraction. That is why we say celibacy is important when you want to be serious about spiritual progress. Take some more questions.
So, Jay,
Nishit, you seem very stunned by all this. What's going on with you in your mind?
no, it's an interesting, the conversation we've been having so far since the past half an hour has been very interesting, and I'm just enjoying it. And so I'd like at this moment just welcome a few people who are on Facebook. We've got Kuldeep Chowdhury watching us from Varanasi. We've got Gautam Wagner. We've got Kajal Kia, Mehul Varambia. We've got Veena Babani. We have Carol Dennis from, I believe she's an author in Ireland who's watching us. And we've got Yagnik Mufwani, we've got Nandan Anavekar, Ravi Madhavaram, Sita Suchak, we've got Nitin Paria, and many others. So I wanted to ask you something, Deepak. It's
Ask.
time for a googly
Yes.
now.
Yeah, go for it.
So many a times we all know that we judge others by their actions and we judge ourselves by our intentions, which is entirely not fair. However, when it comes to something like justice and revenge, I want to ask you, what is the difference between justice and revenge?
Okay. You see,
It's
revenge.
so subjective.
No, it's important, but still it's good to address because in a way you make me think on my feet. I say, how do I respond? You are naughty, Nishit, but so be it. The thing is this: the reason why we've got this idea of jealousy and vindictiveness and trying to take revenge. When you think about it, where does it spring from? This is why reincarnation is a very important aspect of Hinduism. It says, please explore that you are not just, you didn't start your journey with just this life and I'm born and I'm a human being. Your journey started a long time ago. You've been reborn again and again as animal, then human, and many human lives too. Now you see, the thing is this: as we've gone through the animal structure, we in a way kept some of the traits of the animal nature in us as human beings. This idea of jealousy, anger, viciousness, vindictiveness. In animal kingdom, it was necessary to survive. Unless you took on that frame, you'll be killed. Either kill or be killed. That was the name of the game in the animal kingdom. And that trait stays with us in the human kingdom. So when we suddenly say, I'm jealous and I'm angry and I'm want to take revenge, it is in a way showing the animal traits you picked up from your animal lifetime. So once you look, how do you overcome some of these kind of strong features that you possess? Education. Once I know the reason why I'm getting so angry or why I'm so vindictive is because in some of my animal life I was torn apart, killed, and that stays with me. Even in the human kingdom, we have been mistreated severely, murdered and killed, and God knows how we've been treated in the past lives, and that stays with us. So we are trying to, in a way, give this expression in this life, saying, how dare I will take revenge. So in order to be rise above some of these our evil traits, if we call them that, is to recognize that we have gone through many difficult journeys and we have picked up these traits while we are in that particular mode. Then you don't feel that you are a villain. You don't feel you're essentially evil. You recognize why you are as you are. That is why I keep telling the modern thinkers, you need to revisit reincarnation. It tells you why human beings are as they are, why there is so much lust, why there is so much greed. When you say, the only way I can rise above things which we call evil features is to know what is the reason for it, and then we can rise above it. But if you say, no, I'm inherently evil, then you are going to be stuck like that. So I'm trying to, in a way, refocus attention on reincarnation, and I'm going to rub it in, because at the moment they say, the Freud will tell you that when you were little you had this bad experience, that's why you are like this. No, you had many past lives where you had bad experience, and that is carried forward. The better way of looking at our human condition is to look at reincarnation and not simply Freud telling you, this happened when you were a young child. Grow up. So I'm kind of rubbing this in as much as I can. And we are producing lots of interesting series of talks now, which will go, hopefully viral, to in a way readdress the issue of reincarnation.
Thank you, Jay. So just a quick hello to Nimita Shah. We got Noor Ariel Dungar watching us from Dubai. and many others. But Yatin Kotak, I suspect, watching us from Australia as well. So we have a question from one of the viewers, and this is regarding Raj Yoga. So the question was from Aniket Ratnaparthi, and his question was, any practices in our daily routine which can help us in Raj Yoga?
Yes. You see, the two things that I would focus on, if you are serious about Raj Yoga, the two things only that I focus on, there are a lot, there are 10, there are 5 yama, 5 niyama. I won't go into all of them, but the two ones that I would really focus on are Satya and Brahmacharya. You say, oh, Satya means being stickler for truth. It's not easy. I keep compromising. But in the name of diplomacy, I cut corners and say things which are not true. What I think and what I say must join up, and it's not. Because I want to be diplomatic and gentle. We don't tell somebody you are a horrible man. So in the name of diplomacy, we in a way, lose our integrity of being truthful. And what you say, you must follow through and do it. So when you become joined up, think, you say, and what you say, you do. You do that. Simple as that. Be stickler for it. It's not easy. I keep failing. When you be stickler for it, you are so joined up that your meditation will work very fast. So that's the first thing. The brahmacharya is the second thing. It makes you feel you are a physical being. Then how you want to think you want to be a spiritual being? How are you going to experience you are a spirit? So these two are the main disciplines, I would say, in your routine life that you need to invoke in order to make spiritual progress in Raj Yoga. Sorry, there was something else you asked, Nishit Bhai. Nishit Bhai? I've lost. Here you are.
Then I'm back. I was just trying to control the screen. We have another question.
Can I just stop you 1 second? There's one person asking me again and again. You say the universe is my own society, so we always encourage the idea of creating wealth. So artha is not something negative. We don't vilify making money. We don't say artha of creating wealth is wrong. We don't vilify making money. We encourage it. Say, look, if you are creating wealth, then you can contribute to the greater society. If you are not creating wealth, you are a burden on society. So we never said vilify artha. That's why we say Lakshmi ji, good. And Hindus are very good at making money, by the way, so don't underestimate them. So artha is the second reason why, second aim of Hindu life. I'll take some more question from you.
Yes, Jaybai. So we have a question from Wuhan Sivalingam. His question is that completely clear.
Difficult. You see, we have to look. Sometimes people think you will be spiritual, so ignore the body. You are in big trouble. Look, I'm struggling with IBS at the moment. Irritable bowel syndrome is giving me hell. So you have to take care of the body to make sure the body is functioning well. Otherwise, it will stop your spiritual progress. This is an external garment we possess, but if this garment is faulty, your further progress will stop. Suppose you are ill and coughing, how can you meditate? So the body has to be taken, not ignore it. Feed it well, look after it well, be a healthy person. That's what Hatha Yoga is all about. Be healthy. So the body cannot be ignored. At the same time, don't get fixated on the body, otherwise you just live like a healthy animal, nothing more to you. So body is important, health is important, but then don't get fixated by it like Western culture is purely fixated on the physical body. Rise above, say, okay, the body is working well, so let me now think of something higher. So this is how you make spiritual progress.
Okay, Jaybai, at this point in time, I'm just going to quickly have a quick share about the screen while I ask you the next question. So, like Jaybai had mentioned before, we've launched a free course on basics of Hinduism. So you can go to hindu-academy.com and just simply sign up from here. But the question, the reason I'm showing this is because we have a viewer who's asking a question on whether we are planning to launch a Hinduism course for children.
For the moment, no. You see, because we require a lot of resources. I have done it. We are going to produce a book called Primary Hinduism with very colorful narrative to engage the children with the ideas of spirituality. But we have not launched a course. I tell you, we get stressed. We've got a very limited, manpower with our volunteer force. We can't stretch them too much. But what we might do is, in days to come, we might make Hinduism for Schools, the adult Hinduism, book available on as e-book, and also primary Hinduism with very colorful narratives and colorful stories that we use to engage the youngsters. We might make them available free of charge as part of our resources, but it will take time because we need to get them into e-book.
Okay, Manish, over to you for some next questions.
Yes, sir. So we have a question from a viewer. He's asking, why is that since I began searching for God through Hinduism, I've lost all interest in other things?
I think it's a good thing. You are lucky, my friend. You are lucky. Most people struggle with worldly things and they can't focus on God. And you are focusing on God and the worldly things are disappearing. So I say you are lucky. Count your lucky stars. Don't say it's a bad thing, it's a good thing. At the same time, it's not easy because you see, our worldly affairs have to be taken care of as well. You can't ignore them. And if you ignore them, they come and bite you on the backside. You have to pay the bills. So always keep your feet firmly planted on the floor. Be pragmatic and practical. Like you can see, our Nishit Bhai, sorry, our Manish Bhai. If you look at his picture now, Manish Bhai, can I have a look at your face, please?
Hello, sir.
Manish Bhai,
Hello.
can you see the ladder behind him? This is the ladder to heaven. Look, unless we have the sense of humor, you can't progress spiritually. Sense of humor is crucial, and Manish Bhai knows. He said, okay, Jay Bhai talking thing, but I need a ladder to reach out to heaven, and all this airy-fairy stuff, Brahman, I'm not bothered with. I'm just keeping a ladder ready to climb up to heaven. So, sorry about this, Manish Bhai. I can't help myself. I've got a very naughty streak. Anyway, I'll take some more serious questions.
Jay, before you go ahead, I just want to ask if everybody can hear the volume okay on Facebook. Please leave me a comment because I see somebody is struggling to hear the sound. I just want to make sure that we're not having any problems with audio. Manish, back to you.
Okay, sir. We have a question from a viewer. He's saying, we talk about modern vision of Hinduism. So how do we define modern? 1900s, 2000s?
I would say now, from now. After you study the e-learning course on Hinduism, this is the latest version of Hinduism. So start from now, not in even 50 years back, 100 years back with time of Vivekananda. Start now, my friends, start your journey now and promote the deeper vision of our tradition starting from now. Why go back? Why go back? Look forward to the future and start from the present and go to the future. That's what I would say. Nishit Bhai, anything more from you, sir?
Okay, well,
Yes, sir.
We have a question from one of the viewers asking, where can we get the books for children to look into Hinduism?
Okay. The two books we published, and that was actually they were written by my daughter. Look, I'm showing you how the law of karma in a way catches up. When my daughter was 5 years old, I started teaching her Hinduism with colorful narratives and so on. And this has grown into this Hindu academy now. We started with my little daughter, and this is how we started. And when she went to university, somebody said, Mr. Lakhani, you must write books. Otherwise, you're getting old now. So write books, leave something behind. I said, okay. I started writing books. So once I started writing books, my daughter was studying anthropology at UCL, very posh, English literature and all that. So I said, can you look at my material? She said, Dad, this is not English. This is called Indian English. No good. So I said, you write the books. I will just guide you. So she wrote the two books that have become very popular and highly recommended. For example, British Humanist Association gives the highest mark to primary Hinduism for children. Can you believe that? The atheist. And this is called Primary Hinduism by Sita Lakhani. That's one book. And the other book we wrote for the senior age group is called Hinduism for Schools by Sita Lakhani. The books were well recognized, used by all the examination board in UK. And then after 3 reprints, we discovered that people like everything on internet. No, they don't read books anymore. So we have stopped publishing them, but we still are planning to turn them into e-books, which can become available to everybody free of charge. We are planning to do that very shortly. Okay, sir.
Do you have any questions?
Okay. Yeah. We hear a lot about man-making education, and so what's your vision of the future of education? What about around the world?
Keval, it is happening everywhere. Look, you are a man-making person. Can't you see yourself? You're reflecting your own image. Man-making means you don't kind of fall back on others to resolve yourself. You stand on your own feet. This is called man-making religion. We have always focused on that. Stand on your own feet and sort yourself out rather than rely on externals, even your family. You must stand on your own feet and sort yourself out. That's what we recommend. That is the teaching saying, dignify yourself. Don't underestimate yourself. And one of the area where I find real problem, I'm being very blunt, is astrology. Now we know that in ancient time, astrology was part of the Vedanga, one of these kind of side issues of in the Vedic literature. And this is what happened. Long time back, there was some kind of correlation between the position of those planets at the time of birth, which in a way somehow gave a little bit of an inkling regarding how the life will unfold for the individual. We tried it out over a few hundred years. We tested it out. There seems to be some correlation between the position of planets at the time of birth and the way the individual lives his life. Some correlation. It is not an exact science. It's purely approximate, kind of some variables we use and seem to fit. But then we get fixated on it to such a great extent, it's frightening now. I hear one astrologer telling now, you see, if you do any religious activity without checking your planetary position, then it will create a curse for you. You see, oh, come on, they're doing some religious activity, some philanthropic activity. They say you can't do philanthropic activity without checking your kundali, without checking your astrological chart. Now, when I hear stuff like this, we have really gone down the wrong route. Look, if somebody is trying to do philanthropic, you say, no, the planets are wrong, so if you do anything philanthropic work, something bad will happen to you. I've heard this repeatedly being thrown in my face. So astrology may have had some kind of selling point in the past, but we have to grow out of it and become man-making or women-making religion. Stand on our feet and sort ourselves. Forget these planets floating in the air, sky. You sort yourself out, says our tradition. So our focus should be man-making. Stand on your own feet and sort yourself out. Don't rely on an external God. Don't rely on your scripture. Don't even rely on Vivekananda. Rely on yourself to sort yourself out. This is called man-making or woman-making religion.
Thank you, Jay. So now I have a question from Caroline Dennis, and she was asking, can you tell us something about how insight works in the creative process to bring about innovation in the new world, in the world? So we frequently talk about how physics is now put in a traffic in a corner. People are not able to find their way out of answering certain questions. So in the same way, how does somebody bring about creativity and innovation?
Okay, there's another question that came from I think YouTube. I must address that. That is, why should we fast? It's a very practical question, because fasting is considered part of the kind of methodology we adopt in religious living. Basically, all this activity we do in the name of religion, including fasting, is in a way to show. Okay, the second question you asked was innovation, and look, this is a very nice thing to explore. Let's explore our human condition. At the earliest level, we operate at the level of instinct, just reaction. We react to whatever happens to us at the level of instinct. In the human kingdom, when we become much more mature, a lot of human beings only operate at the level of instinct. But then they have this second faculty that we possess called the intellect. So the human level described to has occurred through the level of intuition, not intellect. You may think, oh, we worked it out, we did the value of pi, etc. That's baby stuff. At the level of intuition, we discovered the deeper dimension of reality. That's where we found the wonderful stuff regarding nature of reality. And this is how it sits well with the idea of quantum physics, it sits well with the idea of consciousness, sits well with the idea of cosmology. It was discovered not through intellectual gymnastics doing equations, but through deeper dimension, deeper, kind of grasp of reality. Linkage. There is a linkage between the whole of this creation ourselves at a deeper level. And that linkage gives us a deeper insight into how things operate, including the creation, including the idea of quantum, into the idea of consciousness. All these things were discovered not through intellect, but through intuition. So the process of becoming more vigorated is to focus on intuition rather than intellect. Intellect gets in the way. It's purely gymnastics. And that you get caught up with the gymnastics, you can't go any deeper. It's intuition. And in science they call it the eureka moment. Yoo-hoo! Look, Einstein had this, how we call special relativity. This intuition, same with the quantum physics. The father of quantum physics, this world is not made of matter. Wow, this is intuition, because this all appears like matter and yet is not matter. So it's that level of intuition. You get a deeper grasp of reality. And why does it work? Because we are linked up at a deeper level with the whole of this reality. Knowledge is not outside, it's already within us. We need to just touch base with, oh, I know it. It's called the eureka moment. That's how we discovered some of the top scientific discoveries took place at the level of intuition. Anything else, sir, from either of the two, sorry, Kaival, Nishit Bhai, Manish Bhai?
Yep, Jayabhai. So we have a question, which is, what's the difference between punya and bhakti?
Punya and bhakti?
Yes.
Okay, the word punya basically says you do things which are kind of virtuous, so in a way it kind of allows you to progress further in your spiritual journey. This is the word punya. Means allowing you to make spiritual progress, because the activity you set into motion have this kind of positive benefit. That's the word punya. So that's the only way I can define punya. But main thing is this. This is the way I define good and bad. This is a beautiful way. Anything that is taking you back to your true nature, is the spirit. I'm the spirit, I'm Atman. That is positive. Anything that takes you away from your true nature is, if I can call it pap, means it's not good. Not good. You're going away from your true nature, my friend. Go back to your true nature. That is punya. That is going towards your true nature. That's goodness. When you go away from your true nature, suppose I get drunk, oh, I lose track of my own true nature. That's bad because you're losing track of your true nature. While I become focused, I meditate. See, positive, going back to my true nature. Suppose I help other people. I'm going back to my true nature, which is linked with other human beings by being philanthropic. So good. Suppose I hurt other people needlessly. I'm in a way hurting myself. So it goes against my nature. That is why this is how it's perhaps a much easier way to define punya, pap, good and bad in Hindu tradition.
Thank you, Jaybai. So Caroline says she discovered as a creative professional that she has a higher level of intuition as her spirituality has deepened. And we also had another question regarding how to make sure that we can develop intuition further on a more aware or conscious basis.
You see, when I look, whenever we do this, the interactions we do, when we come across individuals, we never show the colors, in this way. Look, I've got one particular individual in Tasmania, the little island out there, back of Australia, focusing on what we're teaching. I said, Tasmania? You've gone right up to Tasmania? So whenever I interact with individuals who are kind of charged up with what we are doing, who feel thrilled by what they hear from us, we feel our work has been done. We have done our work. We have in a way managed to somehow plant these wonderful, potent ideas into greater society, greater world. And that, in a way, is very touching for us. Whenever we see individuals say, Mr. Lakhani, you're talking about spirit, I had a glimpse. I said, good. So this is how we find, this is our reward, to find individuals who in a way cannot relate to what we are talking about.
Great. So we are almost at 2 o'clock now, which is an hour into the broadcast. Perhaps we should take this opportunity to bring this to a close so that we can save some questions for next week. So anybody, we've got lots of viewers on YouTube and Facebook as well. We have some questions which are still unanswered. Fear not, we will bring them on next week at the start of the broadcast. They're not being ignored. But Jaybai, do you have any final questions before I wrap up with a quote from Swami Vivekananda?
I had a lot of questions from viewers and I said I'll take them on. I'm sure, sorry, I think I've missed quite a lot of them. Please forgive me. I get caught up by all the questions that come when we are on the live program, and sometimes I get caught up with them and sometimes I don't address some of the issues that you raised. Please forgive me for that.
Fantastic. So what I'd like to do is just say thank you again to everybody who's joined us from all around the world. The last call to action, if you want to join the Hinduism course, go to hindu-academy.com and just sign up for it. And I will close with a quote from Swami Vivekananda, which says that the will is not free. It is a phenomenon bound by cause and effect. But there is something behind the will which is free. So with those thoughts, I'd like to wish you all a very good week ahead. Look after yourselves, take care, and we will see you next week, 2 o'clock UK British summer time. Bye-bye for now.
Bye. Bye, everybody.